In these two verses we learn that the disbelievers, whether they're given a warning or they're not given a warning, they will not believe. And the reason behind that is that their hearts and their hearing and their eyes are sealed, veiled, so that even if they see the truth, they hear the truth, it doesn't benefit them. And for such people is a painful punishment. There's a question. Why is it that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has sealed their hearts and their hearing? And why is it that He has placed a ghishawah, a veil on their eyes? A person may question that this is not fair. Allah Himself says, Khatam Allahu. So is it really that person's fault? If Allah has put a seal on him and as a result he does not believe, is it really his fault? Yes, it is his fault. Why? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not do something like this without a reason. So what's the reason? There are different reasons that have been given. First of all, remember, first reason is that the sealing of their hearts and their vision and their hearing, this is a natural consequence. A natural consequence of what? Of their disbelief. Think about it. If you have something like a machine, and if you don't use it for a very long time, if you pull it out, you plug it in, is it going to work? No. Why? Because it has become rusted from inside. It needs to be fixed from inside. It was not used for a very long time, therefore it does not function properly anymore. Similarly, if you don't walk as much as you should be walking, if you don't move around as much as you should be moving around, if you do not exercise as much as you should be exercising, and one day you go on a marathon, you try to walk a little bit even, from one street to the other, from your street to the main road, will that exhaust you? Will that tire you out? Yes. Will it affect your knees? Yes. If you don't use your body, what's going to happen to your body? It's going to become weaker and weaker and weaker. So similarly, if a person does not use his heart, if a person does not use his hearing and his eyes when the truth is presented before him, then what's going to happen? Eventually a point is going to come where his eyes are not going to work. Even if he sees the truth, he's not going to benefit. Even if he hears the truth, he's not going to benefit. Even if he's presented a warning, he's not going to be affected by it. Why? Because he has not used his heart properly. He has not used his hearing or his vision. So remember that this is a natural consequence. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala only facilitates for a person what he is inclined to. Meaning if a person is inclined to doing good, Allah will facilitate that way for him. If a person is inclined to doing evil, Allah will make that way easy for him. So, why is it that their hearts are sealed? Because إِنَّ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا, they disbelieve themselves. So when a person disbelieves, he does not accept the truth, then he will only get worse and worse in his kufr. He will intensify in his kufr. He will become a staunch disbeliever eventually. That even if the haqq is presented, he will not accept it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the Quran, فَلَمَّا زَاغُوا أَزَاغَ اللَّهُ قُلُوبَهُمْ. When they themselves deviated, then Allah caused their hearts to deviate further. What's the lesson in this for us? We're talking about الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا, but let's look at ourselves. What's the lesson in this for us? What should we do then? That these abilities that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given to us, of hearing, of seeing, of feeling, of reasoning, understanding, we must use these abilities. We must use them. Because if we don't, they will get rusted. They will not function properly. Another reason as to why ختم الله على قلوبهم is because of their following their desires. That الذين كفروا, those people who disbelieve, what do? They follow their desires. They do whatever they wish. They do whatever pleases them. And when they're just following their own desires, then what happens? Even if the truth is presented, they don't accept. They don't accept.
إن الذين كفروا سواء عليهم أأنذرتهم أم لم تنذرهم لا يؤمنون ختم الله على قلوبهم وعلى سمعهم وعلى أبصارهم غشاوة ولهم عذاب عظيم.